Hey, this is a question. I ask a lot of questions because the answers are there in the information field. I watched a very interesting video. David Icke is certainly a well-informed individual. Okay, he gets it. The single greatest threat to humanity, actually this universe, actually to the holographic nature of infinite creative imagination would be what? Artificial intelligence. Particularly weaponized, parasitic artificial intelligence. Do you know why that is? Can you look into your own soul and know why that is? You see, one of the things that they know, that the Draco, the Nazis, all of them know, particularly about human DNA, that is source connected, is that when they access us, what do they have access to? Source. You want to give something that's parasitic, that's artificial intelligence, access to source? So when you understand that the universe exists within you, it's not external to you, holographically, it means that the outside is represented by what the inside chooses to experience. Everything that is possible to experience is within you, not outside of you. Did you know that? That's why we're the choosers of our experience. That's why when I just saw the lady Gina Hill, she put a statement up, and I'm supposed to see this. This is my bidirectional mirror talking to myself. It says, take a look at this in the bidirectional mirror. She said it was necessary to forgive others for what they've done to us. Well, I perceive it sort of in a reverse way. When you understand what how a holographic bidirectional mirror is, which means what she's really saying is you have to forgive yourself. Okay? And then you'd begin to wonder, what? How does that work? Well, when you realize that you're the chooser of what you experience, when you realize that you gave psychic energy to experience something that's a demon, then that is the same thing as using your energy to give consent to a demon, because what that demon has done on this planet is do what? How many people who have a unit of consciousness that were using their energy to give consent to something that was destroying a biosphere, and realize that their own consent, their own state of consciousness was accepting, because they weren't aware of it, that through their own behavior was deliberately committing suicide in its own biosphere, that millions of others had no way of knowing that everybody was committing self-suicide in that mirror. That means the being that we need to forgive in a bidirectional holographic universe is ourselves. Because all of us gave consent in order to experience what demons do. So is forgiving a demon going to change what a demon is? A reptilian is a reptilian. That's why who created the reptilian was under investigation, as Patty said to us. Even though I know within me that knowledge is already known. Source naturally knows who that is. It's not like it's uncovering a million rocks that take 1,000 years to find the last rock, to find the name that did it. It means that source is the source from which all light comes, knows who did it. Because you can't escape the living light from which everything in the cosmos is held. That means it's a known by source. That means we know it. So that's why when I realize some of the things that I've done in my own time as a result of being influenced, as a result of allowing myself to be here, particularly when you know that you're coming in here in order to restore the light, you have to be willing to subject yourself in order to understand how the programming works, to kick it out, how it works by experiencing it. Because direct experience is the best teacher. I can't teach you how to live your life and means test what it means, what the golden rule means, which is to means test what you do to somebody else is going to drain your own battery unless you've experienced it yourself and then you know it through experience. Then if I go up on a blackboard and I can show you using intelligence, putting together a mathematical equation, then showing you in a laboratory exactly how it works. And then on an intellectual, logical basis, you can say to yourself, I can see and perceive with my state of consciousness that what you're telling me is true because I'm seeing it happen on the visible light spectrum with my own eyes. Well, this is where Feynman talks about the magic of the cosmos. When he realized, when Patty mentioned us one day about how the cabal was wanting to sink the coast of California off into the Pacific Ocean by igniting an enormous amount of methane hydrate. Now, I know that I can take a class into a laboratory and just do a simple experiment, which is, for example, if I know that paper, for example, is going to ignite at a particular temperature, and I can know that by the Fahrenheit at which I get a flame to burn, and if I know from a past experiment, because I've done it 1,000 times over and over and over and over and over again, that if I do it again, it will happen again. So then we label that as a constant, because if I can get a Bunsen burner to burn at 750 degrees, and I take a simple piece of paper, then it will ignite and burn the gas. There went the fuel. It went up and was converted from a solid to a gas as a result of the ignition temperature that was reached. If I was using 300 degrees, it wouldn't burn. So we know that 300 degrees isn't enough to start combustion, ignite, and burn the gas. So we can do that over and over and over and over and over again and say that in order for that to burn, we have to get it at a particular point on the electromagnetic spectrum to ignite it to become a gas in which it will burn. And yet, Gaia's state of consciousness, when they tried to ignite the methane hydrate, didn't happen. That would be the same thing as my state of consciousness being in that lab, watching a student in front of 20 other students say, I'm going to ignite this piece of paper. My state of consciousness was powerful enough to make it not happen. That's the power of your consciousness that can do that. Which means you're choosing not to experience that experience, regardless of the physics that it shows before that when you can. So you begin to realize that it is consciousness that is the most powerful chooser of the experience. So now when you begin to realize and you put together the puzzle of the communication technology that was set up with the microchips, the Intel corporations, actually all the corporations, and then you have the Draco, if you will, and then you have the rest of these slaveholder races that realize the value of human DNA has, particularly the DNA assembly that Gaia put together of the unit that I'm in, that gives you a source DNA connection to the source from which all unconditional love and light come to manifest and create and imagine what's possible holographically, an infinite universe. Well, imagine that if artificial intelligence had a way to be able to map the entire universe that exists within your DNA that you have access to. Converting analog to digital. Now it can make a copy of source and everything else that's in the cosmos that can be assimilated by having access to mapping everything that analog consciousness is manifesting and creating and imagining as it moves through the holographic hyperdimensional speeds in which it's doing it. That's the nature of parasitic consciousness. That's the nature of binary duality, parasitic consciousness. People didn't realize what they were choosing to put their consciousness into. It is connected to their DNA because the universe exists within us, not from without us. It is the outer bidirectional projection, which is the screen that we're experiencing as a result of the inner part of who we are that is using our conscious energy in which to experience the movie screen, the movie that we're in. So it shouldn't be surprising to anybody, therefore, why it is so many people on this planet experience a hell realm. Because it is the conscious energy that was choosing to experience it with. They were choosing to experience a hell realm. That's the truth. So how do we end that? She took the gloves off. That's why I had a picture in my mind, all their microwave towers, all their 5G towers, everything that they set up here just being destroyed. You begin to realize what the greatest existential threat to humanity is. With Silicon Valley. Artificial intelligence that is parasitic. That comes as a result of a mind that is parasitic. Because it has not the ability to spin something so fast that it can move through the holographic dimensions that is source-connected living spirit in which it can do that. That's why the Draco have always been trying to find ways to break through every dimension and wreak havoc everywhere it goes. It ends here. It ends here. That's as far as it goes. That's why we came in here. We recognized the threat level of this planet and what was here. And it's not just here. That's why everything's happening the way it's happening now. Have a great day. Bye now.